Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya
Jaya
Nityananda
Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta
श्री
Vrinda
चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 3, Lord Chaitanya's stay at Advaita Acharya's house. So this is right after taking sannyas. Uh, Mahaprabhu traveled for 3 days in the land of Radha Desh, and then by the trick of Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Advaita Acharya's house, and there Advaita Acharya, to his heart's content, feeds Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a variety of bhoga, food preparations, personally cooked by him and his consort Sita Devi. And then after that, Advaita Acharya is, so this was lunch prasad. Then during the day, many devotees were coming, visitors were coming from the neighboring places of Shantipur and to take darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And by the time it was evening, Advaita Acharya starts a kirtan. And in that kirtan, he's expressing his ecstasy, his joy that finally he got Mahaprabhu came to his house by reciting certain verses actually spoken by Srimati Radharani. So this is composed by Vidyapati. By reciting those verses, Advaita Acharya is expressing his joy, his ecstasy. And then he's just dancing in various ways and um, he's experiencing, you see, all these various manifestations of ecstatic symptoms like trembling and uh, choking of the voice and crying, mm, perspiration, bodily hair standing on end, roaring, bellowing, falling down like that. And behind Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu also started dancing, and then Haridas Thakur also joined. All the while, Mahaprabhu sitting and watching. Then, seeing observing the kirtan and especially Advaita Acharya's ecstasies and his ecstasies, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mood of separation from Krishna heightens to such an extent that he is not able to contain those ecstasies. It's like soldiers fighting with each other. There are opposite feelings or ecstasies fighting with each other like that. So the body is completely unable to handle it, and all of a sudden Mahaprabhu falls down to the ground. Then Advaita Acharya stopped his kirtan and came. And Mukunda, seeing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has fainted, he understood Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy. To increase his ecstasy, Mukunda started singing certain verses, which would, so these verses were about the meeting of Sri Radha and Krishna. So Srimati Radharani is saying how, because of the poison of love of Krishna, she's telling her friends, oh, my dear, Sakhis, friends who are dearer than my life, because of this poison, the effect of the poison of love of Krishna, my mind and my body is afflicted in so many ways. What has not happened to me? What has not, this love of Krishna, what has it not done to me? Like that, Srimati Radharani. So this verse is showing what Srimati Radharani says to her friends and what she is feeling. So by hearing this, although Mukunda was singing this in a very sweet melodious voice, but by hearing this sweet melodious song, Mahaprabhu's heart, his mind was ripped to pieces. Like it only worsened his condition of ecstasy. Hmm? So Advaita Acharya tried to lift Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to help him dance with him in the kirtan, but Mahaprabhu was could not be controlled by anyone. His state was such that he could not be controlled. He couldn't stand, he would fall down, and his body was trembling violently. He was crying. So all this was happening. So let's see what happened after that. Okay. So of course, one detail that I didn't say is before Mahaprabhu fainted, Advaita Acharya, when he was dancing, he would also go around and around, and he would go and hold on to Mahaprabhu's feet, and he would say, "Finally, you were escaping from me all these days by bluffing. Now you came. Now I'm going to tie you up," like that. So, and then he would keep dancing. So then Mahaprabhu fainted, and Mukunda started singing. Advaita Acharya tried to raise the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he could not be held. And what were the symptoms in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body? Tears from his eyes, body is trembling, hair standing on end, then heavy perspiration, words were faltering. Sometimes he would stand, sometimes he would fall, and sometimes he would cry. So now Mukunda is still singing. So Mukunda sings, right? So, okay, so this is the sequence. I'm trying to understand the sequence. So first Mahaprabhu fainted and fell down. Then Advaita Acharya stopped and he tried to pick up Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would fall down. He couldn't be held. And then there were all these ecstatic symptoms in his body. At that time, Mukunda begins to sing. Okay, at that time Mukunda begins to sing. And what is he singing? That verse of where Srimati Radharani is telling her friends that, my dear intimate friend, what has not happened to me due to the effects of the poison of love for Krishna. My body and mind have been severely afflicted. My feeling is like this. So what else is happening? Srimati Radharani is saying, I don't get any rest. My mind doesn't get any rest. Day and night, my mind doesn't get any rest. Why? Because I'm feeling separation from Krishna. I want to find Krishna. If there is a place, if I know, if there is some place where I can meet Krishna, I would just fly to that place. So I'm so restless. I cannot rest. I cannot be stable, steady. I cannot focus on anything. My mind is completely restless. And is it for 1 hour, 2 hours? No, day and night, 24 hours. The only way I would get rest would be when I would meet with Krishna. So if I know, if I can find out if there's any place where I can meet with Krishna, I would just fly there immediately. I would fly there. So this was sung by Mukunda. So the first one, 124, that my body and mind are afflicted so severely, and 125, there's no rest for my mind day and night. And if I could find a place where I can meet Krishna, I would fly there immediately. Mahaprabhu heard this. He's already going through these ecstasies. Advaita Acharya is trying to help him get up, but he was not able to get up. And he's going through all these ecstasies. And in middle of that, now Mukunda sings these verses. And in a very sweet, melodious voice, very sweet song, Mukunda was singing. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, his mind was further ripped to pieces. You see, in the spiritual world, there is no limit for anything. In the material world, there is a limit for everything. Actually, nothing is limitless. It may be such a large quantity that it may appear to be limitless, but actually nothing is limitless. Everything is limited. Just like so anyway, here let me get back. Yeah. So so the mind was already at the state of complete restlessness. How can it become worse than that? That was my point. But that being restless is also ecstasy. It is also ecstasy. So I forget the words given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about this anushilanam, right? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulena Krishna anushilanam. This anushilanam, because this is pure devotional service. Anushilanam is two types, Cheshta Rupa and Bhava Rupa. In sadhana bhakti, we do Cheshta Rupa Anushilanam. Cheshta Rupa means with your body, mind, or words. You're doing devotional service with your body, mind, and words. This happens in sadhana bhakti. And then that is again two types. Pravritti Atmaka, Nivritti Atmaka. Two types. This devotional service done in sadhana bhakti, and even not this definition, Anyabhilashita Shunyam is not limited to only sadhana bhakti. This definition applies to sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti also. All this definition applies to all stages. They are all different stages of bhakti. So in sadhana, pravritti and nivritti means, pravritti means doing what is favorable. Nivritti means refraining from what is not favorable to pleasing Krishna, to devotional service. Like in Nectar of Instruction, we have 6 do's and 6 do nots, right? So the do's that we have to do, that we will do, and why we are doing, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavritam and Anukulyena Krishna. We are doing it to please Krishna, not for anything else. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, not for anything else, only to please Krishna. And why we are refraining from certain things, that is also to please Krishna. So therefore, our refraining from things which are not favorable to Krishna consciousness, refraining, staying away from material association, that is also pure devotional service. Nice, huh? So what you do for Krishna, that is also pure devotional service. And what you avoid is also pure devotional service. Because you're avoiding that because this is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. Anyway, so that is a side point. But then there is, I told you, Anushilanam is two types, right? Cheshta Rupa and Bhava Rupa. Cheshta Rupa comes in sadhana. Yes. And Bhava Rupa Bhakti comes in higher stages. In Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, there is Bhava Rupa. There, Anushilanam is Bhava Rupa. Because there you are not functioning, you don't have a material body actually at that stage. Your spiritual body is in a budding stage. When you enter into Bhava Bhakti, now you get a relationship with Krishna. You get a relationship, and in that relationship, you start functioning. Just like I think recently we were discussing, until and unless you are on Shuddha Sattva platform, you cannot render devotional service. Yes, in Srimad Bhagavatam only we were discussing when King Yadu, uh, the eldest son of Yayati, he says that unless I, what do you say, unless I enjoy material happiness now, I won't be able to renounce it. I won't understand that this is futile because my goal is I want to renounce it. Why you want to renounce it? Unless I renounce all this, I won't be eligible to render pure devotional service in the end. That was his, so that's Varnashram system. So there, Srila Prabhupada quoted, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitiyaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That means one who renders this avyabhicharini bhakti, he immediately transcends the three modes, comes to the Brahmabhuta platform, and then after coming to Brahmabhuta platform, now he can render devotional service. That means actually you have to be on the same platform as the Lord to be able to render devotional service to him, direct devotional service to him. So that, when is that happening? After you transcend all the modes. Of course, even in sadhana bhakti, after anartha nivritti stage, you have already transcended, you are on that platform. But to get actually a relationship with the Supreme Lord, that happens in bhava bhakti. Like, so you're progressing gradually. So once you come to bhava bhakti, your relationship with Krishna is revealed to you, who you are in relation to Krishna. And in that relationship, you will start functioning. That's not happening in your material body, that's happening in your spiritual body. So, just like the material body grows on the spirit soul, yes, material body grows on the spirit soul. So, we know subtle body is there, right? That also grew at one point. But now the spiritual body is also, I mean, the material body also, how that conception, right? So it's there as a in the sperm, and then it comes, and then the body is growing gradually. Like that, the spiritual body, of course, it has the development of spiritual body has its own mechanism, but the spiritual body is also growing on this devotee, living entity, as he progresses further and further in his bhakti. It matures, blooms. So you can also compare it with a bud. It's a flower bud, and gradually it opens up into a flower, and that flower has so much fragrance. So that spiritual body is growing. So then whatever activities are happening in Bhava Bhakti stage, they are not done with the body, material body. They are all done in the spiritual body. So those activities are called Bhava Rupa, not Cheshta Rupa, right? Or Yeah, those are Bhava Rupa. We don't discuss, when we study Nectar of Devotion in Bhakti Shastri, we don't discuss Bhava Rupa because we have not come. Bhava Rupa, maybe there may be one or two devotees, but majority are, still struggling to actually come to Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti platform. So therefore stress is given on that. We discuss Cheshta Rupa, how to endeavor to do devotional service 24 hours with your body, with your mind, with your words. This is what we have within our capacity now. We have our senses, our body, our energy, our, what, and we have the power to speak, and we have our mind with which we think. So how to engage all these in Krishna's service at all times, that is our endeavor now in sadhana bhakti stage, initial stages. But this bhava rupa, that's what I'm explaining here. Within that also there is, just like I told you, one is pravritti and nivritti. The other one, I'm forgetting, it's just slipping my mind, the two terms. So one term is where it's very pleasing to you. I think one is Vishada and the other one is something. But both are ecstasies. Both are ecstasies. So one activity is done out of, it's very pleasing to the devotee, right? He renders this devotional service and it gives great pleasure to the devotee. For example, uh, you know, you go and see Krishna, or you make a garland for Krishna. It's very pleasing to the heart. And the other type of activity is when Krishna leaves you, then it gives so much pain to the devotee. That is also pure devotional service. That feeling pain in separation from Krishna, that is also devotional service. And when meeting with Krishna, the pleasure that one gets, that is also pure devotional service. Of course, we are talking here about higher stages, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti stages. So the point is opposites. Both are pure devotional service, both are ecstasies. Both are ecstasies. Ecstasy means what? Ecstasy means it's the highest pleasure. But the irony is, it's giving you so much pain, Vishada, separation. When Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, it left the gopis, all the Brajbasis, especially the gopis, it left them in such sorrow. That sorrow which they are experiencing in the absence of Krishna, that is pure devotional service. That is the highest ecstasy of pure devotional service. So that Anushilanam is also has two sides there. It can give you sorrow and it can give you pleasure. Both are pleasing to Krishna. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. Anukulyena means in order to please Krishna, that which is favorable to Krishna. Both are Anukulyena. In separation, the pain that you're feeling, that is also pleasing to Krishna. And when by taking darshan of Krishna, by smelling the flowers offered to Krishna, the pleasure that you receive, that is also pleasing to Krishna. They are both pure devotional service. So here what Mahaprabhu is experiencing, pain, right? Vishada Rupa. The transcendental ecstatic symptoms of disappointment, moroseness, pleasure, restlessness, pride, and humility all began to fight like soldiers within the Lord. So when Mukunda began to sing these verses in a very sweet melody, Mahaprabhu's mind went to pieces. What is he experiencing here? That Vishada Rupa Bhava. That is, this is Bhava Rupa Shilanam, Anushilanam, right? Bhava Rupa. And it is in that also, it is the Vishada, the one that gives sorrow to the heart. But this sorrow is actually an ecstasy. Okay. So the Lord is experiencing disappointment by hearing Mukunda's songs. He's experiencing disappointment. Why? What does the verse say? I'm so restless, my mind is so restless. If I can find a place where I can meet Krishna, I would fly there immediately. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu is experiencing disappointment, moroseness, and also is experiencing pleasure, restlessness, pride, and humility. So yesterday what we discussed is how one gets pride, right? What happens in sequence in all this. So Srila Prabhupada said in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, these are explained harsha, right? Harsha means when you achieve the goal of your life, then you experience great ecstasy, joy. And then what happens after that? When you feel like that, how do you act? Right? What else happens when you achieve that? So all these various symptoms, it can be crying, or it can be, you can become uh, proud and not respond to people. That is also the result of ecstasy, like that. And then humility also, at the end, humility also. And they were all like soldiers fighting. So now today's verse 128, and it's already 4:14. Jara jara hoila prabhu bhavera prahare bhumite podila shwasa nahika sharire. The entire body of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to totter due to the onslaught of various ecstatic symptoms. His body was tottering, like trembling when it in winter, you see. So that trembling, tottering, his whole body was tottering. Why? Because of all these ecstasies which were slaughtering literally his body. So his body, unable to bear all these ecstasies, is tottering due to the onslaught of various ecstatic symptoms. As a result, he immediately fell to the ground and his breathing almost stopped. देखिया चिंतिता होइला जता भक्त गण आचंबिते उठे प्रभु कोरिया गर्जना. So everyone was shocked. There was practically no breath in his body. What happened? Upon seeing the condition of the Lord, all the devotees became very anxious. Then all of a sudden, the Lord got up and began to make thundering sounds. बोल बोल बोले नाचे आनंदे विह्वला बुझना ना जाए भाव तरंग प्रबला. Upon standing up, the Lord said, go on speaking, go on speaking. Right? Don't stop singing, Mukunda. Go on. Right? Because when Mahaprabhu fell down, then everyone was shocked. Advaita Acharya stopped dancing. Mukunda also stopped singing, thinking that what happened to Mahaprabhu, right? Like there's no breath in his body. They were all anxious. Then Mahaprabhu all of a sudden gets up and says, go on speaking, don't stop, keep singing. And he started to dance, overwhelmed with pleasure. No one could understand the strong waves of this ecstasy, right? We read that previously. Srimati Radharani says, only the person who's going through knows what it is. From outside, you can only imagine what it may be. But exactly what that experience is, only the person going through it can understand. So here also it is said nobody could understand the heights, the limits of what is going on, the force of those ecstasies within the body of Mahaprabhu. Nobody could understand. Nityananda Sangya Bule Prabhu ke Dhariya Acharya Haridasa Bule Pacheta Nachiya. Lord Nityananda began to walk with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because now Mahaprabhu said, go on singing, and he started dancing, but his body didn't have strength, but he was still trying to dance. So just so that Mahaprabhu may not fall down, Nityananda he held Mahaprabhu, he started walking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Mahaprabhu was dancing. So Lord Nityananda began to walk with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see that he would not fall. And Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur followed them dancing. So Mahaprabhu is dancing, Nityananda Prabhu is walking with Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya also followed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu in dancing. E mata prahare kanache Prabhu range, kabhu harsha, kabhu vishada, bhaverata range. In this way, the Lord danced for at least 3 hours. Now, Mahaprabhu is dancing. For at least 3 hours, he danced. Sometimes the symptoms of ecstasy were visible, including pleasure, moroseness, and many other waves of ecstatic emotional love. So while he's dancing, sometimes you could see these emotions, these ecstasies. These ecstasies. What type of ecstasies? Pleasure, moroseness, and many other waves of ecstatic emotional love. Okay. Yeah, this I wanted to say. Dina dina upavase koriya bhojana uddanda nrityete prabhura hoila parishrama. So for 3 days, Mahaprabhu didn't eat anything. He was fasting. And after fasting, all of a sudden, Advaita Acharya fed so much prasadam, so much variety. So all of you have this experience. You know, you fast, well, we fast for one day, whether you do Nirjala Ekadasi or Janmashtami, let's say. And the next day you eat, right? Or even that night you eat. You eat after doing Nirjala, and then the next day when you eat a feast, what happens? you I have experience, if you really eat like a big feast right after full fast, I mean, you need to go and lay down somewhere. Your body cannot immediately, from 0 to 50, 60, 70, 100, that sudden change your body won't be able to handle. So you need to give the body some time to actually get back to functioning. Or don't eat so much. Start little. Generally, that's what we are supposed to do. Take some drinks. First, they serve you some drinks. So the body gets adjusted to food again, and then start gradually. Then you'll just move. Here, Advaita Acharya served a big feast after 3 days of fasting. And after that, now he's dancing continuously. His body didn't have that strength to deal with. Of course, this is all Mahaprabhu's Leela. His body is completely transcendental. The Lord had been fasting for 3 days, and after that period, he took eatables sumptuously. Thus, when he danced and jumped high, and how does Mahaprabhu dance? Not like you and me, left foot in front of right and right foot in front of left. He would dance, wildly. So he danced jumping high, but he became little fatigued, it is said. He became little fatigued. He could not do. So that's why Nityananda Prabhu was there to support Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he may not fall down. I will stop here. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you very much.